All right, one of the best matches I think of the entire night was this tag team championship fatal four-way elimination match. And at a first glance, you might not have thought that it would be because we had the randomly thrown together Big Show and Rey Mysterio tag team, the pretty new Ryback and Curtis Axel tag team, which they really haven't gotten a whole lot of footing. The Real Americans have kind of taken a step down. They're not as prominent as they were before. And Cody Rhodes and Goldust, which, solid tag team or whatever. But uh, it looked a little sloppy in my mind when they were building this up because it just kind of came out of the blue. Just all right, Big Show and Rey Mysterio. Wait, what? Huh? But overall, I mean, this was a match that I enjoyed from top to bottom. And one of the first notes that I had was just JBL talking about that Axel name, and he just very solemnly just goes, "That is a ridiculous name."
That he came up with.
Right. And he starts going on the whole rampage about like, oh, I didn't think people were actually going to keep saying it and everything. And I agree. Ryback is so stupid. Anybody a fan of the Ryback name?
Me.
No. You would.
Yeah. There's another thing that a friend of mine had said during this match that a criticism that you can say for any of these elimination matches. My friend Dane was just sitting there questioning why aren't the people like Cody Rhodes and Goldust tagging the other people into the match if it's an elimination match instead of their partners, because let's just make Goldust go out there and get his ass kicked so he can lose the titles for us. It's hard to argue at that point, and that's something that happens in a lot of these different tag matches. The WWE logic just gets thrown out the window. People can win a handicap match, but they can't lose a match where they're tagging with other people. You're in an elimination match where you don't have to be in there to win or lose necessarily, so you decide that you want to do all the work and wear yourself out, and that's the main criticism that I could have in this match. But point to point, pretty much this was just fun. Cody Rhodes looked great in this match. Goldust looked really good in this match. Above all, he looked like the star of this whole group of people, and credit to Goldust. He and Big Show were two people that I think they're the oldest people that were in this match, and they looked perhaps the best out of everybody. So awesome job for those guys. Ended up being Cody Rhodes and Goldust retaining via pinfall, and Big Show and Rey Mysterio were the last team. So I don't know if that's going to lead to anything, but hey, if it's as good as this match is, I'm all for it. Peyton?
This match kicked ass. Holy shit. So I didn't even know this match was going to be on the card. I don't think anybody did. And I had company over, so I wasn't exactly paying 100% attention to what the things were being said on the television. So when I first saw Rey Mysterio and Big Show coming out, first off, I was just utterly confused. I was like, wait, these guys are a tag team now? And then there's like, oh, there's a tag team match. Oh, well, this probably won't be too exciting, especially when the next team you see come out is Ryback and Curtis Axel. And then the Real Americans like, okay. Then I see that we have this four corners match, and I found out it's elimination. I was like, oh, this might actually be interesting. It reminds me a lot of, I think it was No Way Out 1 or 2 years ago, a pay-per-view I was actually in attendance for, where the whole show didn't have a lot of hype going into it, and they decided to just throw on this random four corners tag match that had like Epico and Primo and the Primetime Players and the Usos in it, and it ended up stealing the show. I mean, they just completely blew everybody out of the park with this match that wasn't even supposed to be there. And I think we have a similar situation here that nobody knew this match was going to be out there. They took these 8 guys, sent them out there, said, hey, we know you're all professionals. Give these people a good show. And holy shit, they did it. And man, you weren't kidding. If anybody hauled their ass the most in this match, it was Goldust. The man did a freaking Hurricane Rana. I'll say that again. Goldust did a Hurricane Rana. Sadly, the announcers didn't even make a big thing about this. It just kind of like passed. Like when I saw this, I jumped out of the chair with my hands on my head. I mean, this is the same guy that I was watching matches of about 4 or 5 years ago when he was Black Rain, having a hard time climbing up to the top rope to get a rat cage out of a mailbox. He could barely do that. Now he's doing Hurricane Ranas. Holy crap. What a redemption story. What a wonderful, this whole thing that's happened with Goldust this year. It makes me happy to see a guy like that come back and still have such a successful run. And I think it opens up the opportunity for other people to do that. I mean, we see the New Age Outlaws poking in once in a while. I think they could have a similar late run in their career. Not saying do it for everybody. It's got to be people who are worth it and who are going to be willing to go out there and bust their ass the way that Goldust has, and that's going to be very few and far between. But I'm just saying it proves the opportunity that it can be done. I mean, the last time you saw someone really come in for something big with a late part of their career was like Bob Backlund when he randomly came back in 1993 and won a title. That's not something you see happen very often. So kudos to Goldust and kudos to everyone else in the match as well. I enjoyed it, and it's great to have tag teams being something worth a shit again.
Sean?
Yeah, I agree 100% with Peyton. I thought this was a hell of a match. Great match. Goldust stole the show. And it's kind of disappointed I didn't get to see Cesaro with the giant swing on Big Show. Hopefully we'll get to see that at WrestleMania. Who knows? But yeah, it was pretty damn impressive. The only thing I didn't like was when Rey Mysterio was left and they showed sportsmanship. I don't see why you would do that if you're trying to win the titles. Just no.
You don't buy into the whole idea of, you beat me, you got the best of me, but we're still buddies kind of thing?
No, I agree. I agree with showing respect after the match, but helping him up during the match was what was all that about?
Well, there was that spot that I thought was hilarious, where Goldust got taken down by somebody. I think like Rey Mysterio drop kicked him or something like that. But Goldust is just kind of like lying on like halfway like on the apron or whatever, and Big Show very casually just like goes over and picks him up, kind of like, hey, come on buddy, you can do this, and then just throws him into the barricade. Did anybody else catch that?
Nope.
Oh my god, go back and watch it because it's so funny. He holds him almost as if he's like trying to help him out, and then just very quickly just goes like, here you go, here's some fucking barricade in your face.
I would also like to have seen the Usos instead of Ryback. Just throwing out there.
Yeah, and then that throws out the two babyface teams against two heels thing.
And for that matter, why wasn't this a TLC match?
That would have been so much more awesome on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Graham, what did you think about the tag title match?
I thought it was a great match as well. It was both surprising and not surprising. Surprising in the fact that Big Show and Rey Mysterio weren't really established as a team before this event. Curtis Axel and Ryback weren't all that great of a team anyway. The Real Americans are great. I love the Rhodes brothers, but the other two teams didn't do much for me. And not surprising in the sense that the Rhodes brothers are simply incapable of having a bad match. Every match that these two have competed in over the last 3 months has been fantastic. So I've been loving them as a tag team, been loving the tag team division as a whole. So the fact that this match was awesome and undoubtedly the match of the night was no shocker at all. But like you guys were just talking about, this match should have had some sort of stipulation to it. I like the fact that it was an elimination matchup, but why not make it a table elimination matchup or a ladder match? Because one thing that annoyed me about this show is the fact that we didn't get a ladder match. I didn't really care about not getting a chairs match, or a tables match, a tables, ladders, or chairs match single matchups, because that's what we usually get at TLC every year. So I would have loved to see one of those matchups incorporated into this tag team title match, similar to how at Armageddon a couple years ago, 2006 or 2007, I forgot which event it was, when that fatal four-way tag team title match with the ladders was made by Teddy Long. So I thought something similar could have been done on the show. Unfortunately not. But glad to see the Rhodes brothers are still the WWE Tag Team Champions. And hopefully they get their one-on-one matchup at WrestleMania. But if anyone's going to take the titles off of them, it should be either the Real Americans and the Usos, or the Usos, and not Big Show and Mysterio, who are well past their prime and who should be. Big Show should be teaming with Mark Henry, and Rey Mysterio should be with Sin Cara. I think it makes more sense that way.
Jester?
I really liked the match. Big fan of the Real Americans getting back into the show again. I just loved the whole entrance thing they're doing now. They looked really solid in the ring, both matches they were in, Sunday and Monday that I saw. Real big fan of that. Hope they're the ones to take the belts off of Goldust and Cody. Really impressed with the quality of the match, like entirely. The only thing, I thought the post-match celebrations were a little too like overdoing it. I swear they hugged for 20 minutes. Like, shake hands. All right, good job. We'll get you next time and leave. But they're like, I thought Big Show wanted to buy Goldust a drink. Honestly, he's like, oh, you're a little knocked out. Like it was crazy. Too much loving going on after the match. Didn't have too much of a problem with Big Show picking up Goldust during the match, like Sean said. I did when I was watching it. After, when I had a chance to reflect on it, I said, like maybe they want to do the whole beat them at their best. Goldust took a fucking pounding the whole match. Really looked strong. Just match told a good story, good pacing, nice length. Just overall, really, really good. When I was looking at the card for the pay-per-view before I started watching it, because I haven't watched wrestling since SummerSlam, I didn't know any of the matches. And the only one I knew about was Cena and Orton, which is what made me want to watch it in the first place. Because the title unification match is exciting no matter what. Read over the whole card, and the tag team title match was the only other match that stood out. So definitely wasn't let down. Enjoyed it for sure. Glad Cody and Goldust retained too. I like long title reigns. When you drop the belts, it needs to either be a positive surprise or it needs to make sense. Those are the two reasons you ever have a title change, and sometimes they just do it for the fuck of it, and it just pisses me off. So glad Cody and Goldust retained.
Couldn't agree more. And we're gonna take a little bit of a dip down, I would say, in quality. Maybe a lot of a dip down, you could say. The next match we're going to talk about is Brodus Clay against R-Truth.